Alright, yeah, my video cut off, so this will be part 2. Like I said, I'm making the curve for the top, so you can start coming back around. So I already have this heated up. Now what I'm going to do is start bringing it. Now if you start using the wet rag like I had suggested, don't go over it with the wet rag automatically, because that's going to cool it rapidly and just make it solid where it's at. So you're going to have to reheat it again. What you're going to want to do, what I'm doing, is make your mold like you want it, bend it to the shape you want, and start stroking it. There goes my heat gun. Yeah, start stroking it, and just that way you can start cooling it off. And once it starts getting a little bit harder, then you're going to want to get your wet rag, the wet section, and go over the hot part. What that's going to do is going to rapid cool it, and it's going to become solid again. That'll just speed up your cooling time, lowering your project time. This is what we have now. I don't know if you can see the form taking shape already, but let's see if I can get it in frame. There's where our handle's going to go, our net. This is going to be the top part. All I'm going to do with this is just bow it out just a little bit so you can get a little wider opening. And then I'm going to mirror the exact same curves on this side, right here, and right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to mold it all. I'm going to mold it all the way back around till I get back to this section. And once I get here, I'll show you the flattening that I do on this section. Alright, so it's coming along, guys. I'm not completely done, but this is what I was saying when you don't want to go too close or leave it on there too long. I got a little distracted by some birds. But yeah, that's a little bit of burn mark, but that's okay. All you need to do, buff that out, is just get some sandpaper, which you can do. You go over the PVC, spray paint, whatever color you want. The sandpaper will take that out. Your paint will cover it right up. But I'm gonna finish molding it. This is where I'm at so far. This straight edge here is gonna come in, so almost full round. Keep going. Well, I forgot to record. I got a little carried away, but I already heated it up, and I am clamping it right here. So this is going to be the end of this loop. And you're going to want to clamp it just like we did the first one. Bear with me. One hand. Alright. To get it as tight as you can. Now with the first one, we had to clamp it and make the 45, but this one you already molded the whole net, so all you really have to do is just clamp it. It'll mold itself. What you can do is, once that section cools, you can reheat it, level it out if it's a little wobbly, and bend certain areas that don't look right to you. You can do that, but at this point your circle's done. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this cool, set, straighten or flatten out the circle, or the hole, and then I'll come back up with the handle. The shape got a little off, but I'm not really going to stress about it. Next thing is going to be the handle. You're going to want to heat it. What you do is you're going to want to get your handle and place it. You're going to want it to be about right there. It's going to be a perfect spot. So you're going to then mark it. I'm not going to mark it, I'm just going to eyeball it, but that's going to be about the section you're going to want to heat up. I don't know if you can see it on mine. Up to that 0 is where I'm going to heat it up, so it's nice and pliable and I can squeeze them together. Once I do that, I'm going to heat it up, place it back like this, and clamp it both sides. So I'm going to heat it up and we'll come back. So It's not gummy texture that you want. Now, place it in there, and the same way that you pinched it, the first one and the second one together, the same way you pinch the handle. Now, you want to make sure that the handle's flat in there. Pinch it as tight as you can, and you're gonna bring back your other clamp like the first time, almost touching, and clamp it in. Now what I do is I push it against the garage there and straighten out the handle. This is gonna be the part where you're gonna want to take some time and get it straight, because this is gonna affect how accurate your net is going to be. So you straighten it out there, and we'll let it cool. And on the other side, see there, what I can do there, you're going to silicone the crap out of that, but if you want, you can actually pipe clamp that off. Pipe cut that off, so it can be a little bit smaller, or you can go back, heat this section, and just clamp it with just the clamps by itself. So that way it's a pinch shut finish. But I'm gonna let this cool and we'll get back. Getting a little dark out. Had to make some makeshift lighting. But see, this is the handles right there. Let me see if I can get you a good angle on this one. Makeshift phone clamp too. All I did, guys, was just clamp it. You saw me do that. I shaped it again. Now what I'm going to do is going to remove the top clamp first, so this bottom one is pinching it still, and this is going to be where you're going to drill your 7/32 drill bit hole. You're going to want to go, if you heat it and put the clamp on immediately, you're going to get an indentation. You're going to want to do almost exactly in the middle of that indentation. They're not going to be perfect, but who cares? So I'm going to drill this in. I'm going to pause it because it gets real loud. Alright, I drilled the hole there. Now what you're going to want to do is replace the clamp that you took off before taking this one off. So, replace that. Now you're going to want to take this one off. And the reason why is because you remove this one to drill your other hole. This one holds the whole thing still together, so that way your screws can line up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drill the hole here, and I'll put it back. Alright, I have the second hole drilled. Please, guys, exercise caution when using anything. I thought my hand was safe, but my arm shifted while I was drilling, and the drill bit got a good chunk out of my finger. But I'm good, so we'll keep going. Now the next thing you're going to need is going to be your screws right here. Just going to need 2 of them. And the nuts, you're going to need 2 also. The reason you don't want to get lock nuts is because if it gets tossed around a lot, anything movement, anything like that, they won't jar loose. You actually have to go in there with ratchets to get them out. Now, like I said, the hole is actually going to be smaller than the bolt itself. So what that's going to actually do, that's going to help it thread in. The reason you want that is because it gives it a tighter seal, and also the threads are going to be threading the plastic, which kind of gives it its own waterproofing deal in there. Now if your holes are crooked, nobody really cares.
Oh, also, I don't have the net, so I skipped that part. But before you put these screws in, you're going to want to unclamp this, open up your net, and open up the opening and feed your net in here. And then once you get it worked all the way around, then you're going to want to screw these in. But like I said, I don't have the net. I didn't purchase one, so I won't be doing that step. Then you're going to want to go ahead and put these nuts on there. You can socket them down. I'm just going to leave them like that for the purpose of the video. And the next thing you're going to want to do is going to be your cap. Now you're going to take some of your primer and you're going to prime the outside, the outside of your pipe here and the inside of your cap. Once that primer is set on there, then you're going to take your PVC cement, put it again on the inside over the primer and on the outside of the pipe, and then you're going to want to tap it down as hard as you can. That's going to be your cap there. And then for your finishing touches, you're going to go ahead and silicone the crap out of this. What I did was I put the caulking nozzle inside and I filled it in as I was coming out. And then I did the same thing over here. I just went over, pressed it in with my finger, went over, pressed it in, went over, pressed it in about 4 or 5 times, so I got a good seal on there. And this is going to be your net, guys. That's it right there. She's done. Now, like I said, you can take sandpaper. I'd go about 120 and sand down the whole handle and the ring before you put the net, if you want to put spray paint on there. But that's good, and she floats once you seal it in, so it's perfect for the kayak. Taglines, guys.